Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. The old leftist narrative. There's a lot of them, so you probably don't know which one I'm referring to particularly. So let me clarify that. The narrative I'm referring to here is that Donald Trump is facing total political collapse. You hear this constantly. Trump is losing support. People are ditching Donald Trump for good. He's become toxic goods and nobody wants anything to do with him. They're constantly saying this in what I believe is probably an attempt to speak it into reality, but of course, as per usual, it's total projection. They're saying this is happening on the other side when the reality is it's happening on their side. They're the ones facing total demographic collapse. They're the ones losing their most ardent of supporters. The left is constantly focused on Republicans for Harris, but what are their examples? John Kasich, Mitt Romney, Joe Walsh, Adam Kinzinger, Liz Cheney? Yeah, I'm pretty sure those people were anti-Trump, never-Trump rhinos to begin with. Not exactly the same thing. Meanwhile, on the other side, over the last 12 months or so, we've seen total collapse in support for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, one after another, people jumping ship. And we're not talking people who already were on the fence or already vocally against the agenda. We're talking about lifelong liberals, some of their most ardent defenders, jumping ship one after another. We're talking total demographic collapse for the Democrat Party. Let's start off, of course, with Ana Kasparian, and then I got some other examples for you guys. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so we're deep in this election season. Election day is right around the corner. This is the moment where Kamala Harris and Tim Walz need to be rallying people. They need to be securing steadfast support, but instead, this is happening. It seems as though Ana Kasparian has simply had it. She's had it with the dishonesty. Tim Walz shows up to the debate like a frickin' bot, exactly what you'd expect from these Democrats, simply regurgitating the talking points. A Project 2025, a national abortion ban, an IVF ban, and then of course the most dishonest of all, Donald Trump had a poor record on jobs. He's the worst economic president of all time. The Democrats keep saying this as they're underwater 20 points on the issue of the economy. It's obviously a lie. Donald Trump didn't lose tens of millions of jobs. He wasn't a bad economic president. In his last year, a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic hit. Everybody knows and understands this. That talking point is so utterly dishonest. And finally, it seems as though some people on the left are waking up. Ana Kasparian writes, honestly, it drives me crazy when Dems allege that unemployment rose by tens of millions under Trump when they know it was due to COVID shutdowns that Dems supported and wanted to extend. Can we get a standing ovation? Finally. I mean, it's been 4 years of this dishonest talking point, and I've been waiting for a single Democrat to finally admit the truth, and here we go. Ana Kasparian is one of the first to have the guts to challenge the dishonesty of her own party's political leadership. The interaction's also pretty great here. A Twitter user by the name of Matthew Haywood then responds, "You're an embarrassment, Anna. The trans issue wrecked what little brains you had left. You know damn well how Trump handled or mishandled COVID led to it, but keep your right-wing grift going. How long till you do a show with Dave Rubin?" Ana Kasparian then responds, "You're in a cult." And so it honestly feels as though for a lot of people on the left, a lot of people who have been propping up these dishonest wannabe fascists, it feels as though we're finally reaching a straw that breaks the camel's back moment. It's just becoming too much. I mean, just the other day we spoke about Charlemagne and his awakening moment. And so let me just reiterate what I just said. It's becoming too much. The lies, the dishonesty, becoming too much to handle for a lot of people, and I don't blame them. Could you imagine being a Democrat these days? Getting in conversations with regular people at the dinner table? Having to engage in this mental gymnastics like a frickin' contortionist? Having to twist and manipulate the truth in order to preserve the official narrative that Donald Trump was bad on the economy and Democrats are good? Meanwhile, people can't afford eggs, can't afford gas, can't buy their first home? It seems impossible. There's an obvious trend here. And it's like I said earlier, total demographic collapse. The Democrats are losing people. It started with Joe Biden and it seems to be continuing with Kamala Harris. Regardless of what the media is telling you, again, it's narrative versus reality. Donald Trump's not the one shedding voters. The Trump base is just as strong as it always has been. He's still got essentially the exact same coalition of support, I'd argue, and more. Meanwhile, the Democrats seem to be struggling. They need wins right now. We're 1 month away from Election Day, and every week it seems to be another PR disaster. These situations where people are throwing the towel and just saying, I am out. I can't do this anymore. And now that trend, now that phenomenon seems to also be accelerating here with Kamala Harris's totally fake, inadequate response to Hurricane Helene. She seems to be assuming the role of president, getting on the ground and pretending as if she's doing something to aid those in need, but it's too little too late. Even Kamala Harris supporters are getting a rude awakening. They're not buying it.
day 6. And I just can't help but, I literally am just crying for my people. And how could the government do us like this? And how could the whole country just forget about us? Like, it's not enough. What is being done is not enough. There are entire communities that have been just decimated. Where is our government? For Kamala, and I am an avid supporter for her to stand in Florida today and make a statement. Where is our government? Where's the president? Where is that? These people are so hardworking. They have struggled and struggled and struggled for generations and generations to have what little bit they do. And it is completely wiped out from under them. And you can't do any more? You can't send any more support or any help? You.
And again, I don't blame him. It's 5 days too late. Trump was there first. Trump was there the next day. The moment it was safe to be on the ground, Trump was there. Mobilizing efforts, working with Elon Musk to make sure that people in need that were being overlooked by the federal response were getting the attention needed. Democrats claim it's not true. The White House was on it from the very start, but Brian Kemp seems to be telling a different story.
When the first emergency declarations came down, there was only 11 counties in that. A lot of people were outraged, including me, because there was such devastation in up to 90 counties. So we called the White House. We spoke to the president's chief of staff, the FEMA administrator, and said, "Look, you're sending the signal that you're not paying attention to some of these rural communities."
Brian Kemp had to call the White House after only 11 of the 90 counties hit were included in the FEMA disaster declaration. In other words, rural, probably Trump-voting counties were neglected. Of course, we know this fits the bill. It fits the MO.
It is our lowest income communities and our communities of color that are most impacted by these extreme conditions and impacted by issues that are not of their own making. And so
women.
Absolutely. And so we have to address this in a way that is about giving resources based on equity, understanding that we fight for equality, but we also need to fight for equity, understanding not everyone starts out at the same place. And if we want people to be in an equal place, sometimes we have to take into account those disparities.
Yeah, that's what we call equity, folks. What an absolute farce, and people are finally waking up. Everything Kamala Harris is doing here has been staged, a stunt. And the latest stunt, put a vice presidential disaster response jacket on Kamala Harris and pretend like you're doing something. Literally. Does that not appear like the most staged, awkward thing that you've ever seen? Oh, let's walk here with this professional-looking jacket and pretend like we're doing something. We're doing real serial stuff. Look at that, there's a fallen telephone line right behind Kamala Harris. She's doing photo ops. Meanwhile, people are literally devastated and crying, breaking down because they're being neglected. And of course, what's happening? People are jumping ship. Enough is enough. I really feel like, that's what's happening here. Enough is enough. There's just too many red flags. People have concerns, people have questions, and the responses that they're getting from the White House are simply inadequate.
Despite all the proactive things that the federal government did and its response, the sentiment, according to my colleagues on the ground from people, is that the federal government is not doing enough to help. Where are they? Where is the help? What is your message to those people?
I would say the following, that we are there and we will continue to be there, and we will reach the most difficult to access locations. We are relentless in our efforts to ensure the safety and security of all.
And it's starting to have an impact. People are questioning, whoa, wait, what? What's going on? You mean to tell us, American citizens, that there's not enough after spending hundreds of billions of dollars on global conflict? Then, of course, the truth hits. The feds are now saying that there's no money left to respond to hurricanes after FEMA used $640 million this year on migrants. Illegal migrants. People are waking up like never before, and it's absolutely lovely to see. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, friends, and I'll see you on the next one.